What's up, folks? It's Jojo. Hold on, let me adjust this for you. Oh, hello. Get my face. Come on, bro. Fucking focus. There we go. All right. I am sorry about the quality of my recent vlogs. I've been focusing on paying off some bills and getting money for things like rent and car payments. And unfortunately, that takes a lot of my time and focus. So I feel really guilty, and I feel like I let y'all down because I've just been doing quick videos on my phone. And I put my energy and effort into them, but unfortunately, most of my time has been focused on making sure I'm financially stable. So it takes a lot of time right now. My hope is that YouTube will do that for me, and Passion Unchained as a whole will do that for me at some point, and I can do what I love and help you guys figure out how to live a life you love too. But right now, that's not the case. So I don't have my Patreon up right now. I've paused it because I want to make it valuable for you. I want to put things in the Patreon that make it valuable for you. I have some ideas, but I'm curious about your feedback. So if you want, please comment here or email joe@passionunchained.com if you have any specific things that you'd like in a Patreon, some way that you want to contribute to the channel, maybe a Facebook community or a live stream for me or merchandise. I'm not entirely sure what it would be, but if you have any ideas of what you would love to be on a Patreon for this channel, then let me know, because I want to make sure it's valuable for you guys. I want to make sure it's what you guys want. So, yeah, just reach out either in the comments or at joe@passionunchained.com. Tell me what you think you want. No, what you think would be. Tell me what you want, what you think would be good for a Patreon for this channel, because I'd like to start monetizing Passion Unchained, because that way I would be able to spend a lot more time here, and I know that my quality and my consistency has been hard to keep up with, and it's suffered because I need to do other things to make money. It's icy out today, and I'm in, so I'm going to use today to catch up on my vlogs. And today's vlog, this one right here, is going to be about how to explore and find your passion. Now, I had the Explorer's Code, which is on a playlist on my channel. I'll put it in the description, that playlist, so you can check out the Explorer's Code. It still stands. It's a cool idea that helps you tap into that part of you that wants to explore the world. And then there's the ideal of the Renaissance man that I like to talk about, because the Renaissance man is somebody who explores a lot of different things, likes to get better at all of them, and doesn't really settle on one thing. But that said, you might not settle on one thing, but there's a category of things, or even maybe one thing that stands out to you above all else. I wouldn't suggest any one person does one thing only for the rest of their life. Some people are very happy doing just one thing. For me, that category of things is DIY and crafts, making things with my hands. I did a video on my DIY channel recently where, and I'll put this also in the description. I need to fucking write down what I'm going to put in the description. Hold on a second. Let me do that. Explorer's Code. Number 1, number 2 was knitting video, and I'll also put the email. I might have forgotten something, but y'all will shout out in the comments if I did, and I will promptly put it in the description if there's a link that I forgot. But yeah, so my category of things is DIY. I will never not do DIY. If I stop doing DIY for a period of time, I very promptly get frustrated until I do it. It's kind of like a medicine that I need. It's like a supplement. I need to be creative with my hands. I need to create. If I don't create, then I get antsy. I love Jordan Peterson's stuff, and at one point he said, creative people, something like creative people need to create. It was just like there's a certain type of person who, if they don't create, they get anxious and they need to be always creating. And then there's also talking about agreeable people and how like there's a certain type of person who always needs to be in a relationship. If they're not in a relationship, they get anxious. I am not the latter. There's nothing wrong with being the latter. I would suggest having your own identity is extremely important, but you can still have your own identity and be agreeable and prefer being in a relationship. That's 100% true. But for me, I have a few musts, and if I don't do these, then life gets complicated and doesn't make sense anymore. And one of those musts is, I actually love that phrase. One of my musts is creativity and creating. And the phrase that I loved is, one time I was reading, this is in college actually. In college there was a center. It was like a sexual health center, and I'd go in there and I'd chat with people because it fascinates me. Sex fascinates me, and like the different ways that people have it, the different ways that people want it. There's just so much variety out there. Even within like a category, like even within like straight people, it's like, okay, obviously the center like dealt with all kinds of people, but even within straight people, it's like, well, some people prefer to like vanilla sex, some people prefer to be more dominant, some people like want to add a third guy, like another guy or another girl into their sex, like it's just like there's so much variety. Even when you zoom in, there's even variety in there. It's like a fractal of like different preferences. It's really fucking cool. And I would go in there, and there was I read. It's either an article someone gave me or like on a book or something, or they were talking about it. I don't remember, but there was somebody that was writing that's like, yeah, every now and then, like, you have to find what you need in your life. Like, if you took these things away, life would stop making sense. And that was like a really good phrase for me, because it's like, for me, living alone is really important. I might change that at some point. I probably want to live with a partner, a lover, at some point. That seems fulfilling for me, at least to try. But having my own control over my space is really important to me. I've tried to live in a place with roommates, and maybe they were the wrong roommates. But actually, they were the wrong roommates. But even with good roommates, I really like having control over my space, and I really like I don't like having I don't want to be out of control of like noise coming into my room, and maybe that's something that you could have like rules about, like, hey, no noise after 10 or something. But I just like having control, so without control over my space, then I start to get anxious, and life starts to not make sense to me. That's number one. Running is something that actually is somewhat recent, but if I stop running and stop exercising, life gets confusing for me, because like all this pent-up energy is going nowhere, and I just get anxious and angry and frustrated. And I can go periods without it, but it shows. Crafting, making things with my hands. I mean, my craft area is right over there. I gave a tour. Let me write this down. I gave a tour in one of my DIY videos of my craft area, and so I'll link that here. Tour of craft area. So I'll link that here, but if I don't craft, if I don't make things with my hands, after a period of time, I get anxious, I get antsy. It's almost like there's this pent-up creative energy that needs to get out. So those are some of my things. There are others, but those are some of my like musts. If I don't do those, then I begin to get very anxious, and life starts to not make sense to me. I just fucking love that phrase, life start to not make sense to you, because it's really exactly what it is. Like when people say they're passionate about something, it is about passion. It is about like I want to do the thing, but it's also about like life starts to not make sense to you. Like like there's this impending, like this antsiness that stuff needs to get out, and if you don't do those things, or if those things don't happen to you every week, then things aren't working out for you. So I fucking love that. I love that so much. So I would say finding your passion is about getting more experience, trying new things. Try classes you wouldn't think you do. I love knitting. Now, I was taught knitting in 4th grade, so like if it wasn't taught to me, I probably wouldn't seek it out. I really should have my knitting on camera. Give me a moment. And sorry, my nose is all stuffed full of ham and cheese, so I apologize for the sniffling. But it is something that I have to do. And it bothered me because it woke me up several times. And I had to clear my nose so I could go back to sleep. But here's my knitting. I can't knit on camera because I'm holding this as well. I should get a lav and then knit. That's what I'll do in my next video. I'll get a lavalier and knit. But this is going to be a hat for me. I want to put it in camera, but there's like no place I can put it in camera without moving the camera. Well, let me move the camera then. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. Check this out. Okay. Nope. Hold on. Nope. Maybe if I do that, and then it's kind of in camera, sorta. Yeah, it's like all blurry and shit, but it's right here. Maybe if there we go. Now you can tell it's knitting. Well, whatever. This is all for vanity. But yeah, so number 1 is exploring a bunch of different things. So exploring as much as you can really fucking helps. Figure out. Because you have reference memory. You have okay, this was good. I like doing this. I like doing that. And maybe it's a year later. You're like, oh, wait, I really miss that one fishing class I took. Or I really miss that Wim Hof breathing class I took. Or, you won't really know that you can't live without it until you try it. So that's number 1. And number 2 is just examining your life and examining which of the things in your life you really liked, which of the things in your life you didn't really care for. And when you examine your life and do an inventory of the things that you loved and the things that you didn't love, then you come up with a list of things that you can't live without. A guest of mine on this YouTube channel, Raj Raghunathan, really cool guy. He is a doctorate in marketing. He is a doctor of marketing. He's a marketing doctor. That's a really good opportunity for creating a marketing company. Is like the marketing doctor, because it's true. He is a marketing doctor. He's a professor at I went to Rutgers. He's a professor at UT Austin, and he studies happiness. And he has a class on happiness. I believe he's tenured. I had a talk with him, an interview. I'll link that too. Raj, quality isn't as good as this one. I apologize. As my recent stuff, and that's because I'm better at I'm better at doing things now. So regrets for the lack of quality in that. But it was just where I was. But it was a great interview. He was talking about how he got tenure and created a. Why is there this pocket? That's because somebody was wearing this. He created a class at UT Austin about happiness and how to be happy. And he wrote a book called "If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Happy?" And he created a Udemy course. And he's all about helping people be happy. That's the way he wants to give back to the world. And he's a really smart guy, and he's really good at understanding happiness. And I really respect him. He... Fuck, where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. I guess we'll never know. There's something that he said that was... I had said something, and then he says the same thing with a different phrasing. And I forgot what we were talking about. But I remember, I said it, and then I wanted to share how he said it in a different phrasing. But I already said whatever it was, so you get the gist of it. But yeah, so number 1, explore different things, get a lot of reference memories to figure out, so you can look back and figure out what you liked and didn't like. And then number 2 is look back and figure out what you liked and didn't like. And then you'll figure out what you can't live without. And those things you can't live without are your passions. And passions, they might change here and there, but like for me, for instance, for when it comes to crafting, it doesn't change. It doesn't ever change. And maybe it will change someday, but I don't anticipate it because it's just been so constant most of my life, or my whole life really. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped you find a little bit more of your passions, and please reach out to my email or in the comments about what you think would be great, what would be useful to you, what would be worth it to you for maybe like, if you were to give me $5 a month, what would you like in return? Something that would be more than worth it, something that would be a no-brainer. Like, oh yeah, I'd totally give $5 a month for that. Like 100%, 300 million%, I would give you $5 for that. Because it's worth it to me, and I want it to be a win-win. I want whatever I sell you to be something that you couldn't do without, something that you'd be like, oh yeah, fuck, $5, like I'd give you 100 for that, but you're giving it to me, like I'll give you $5 every single month for that, because that way I'm making you happy, and I'm able to make you happy more consistently since I'm getting money. I don't have to spend time on other things and lower the quality and the consistency of this, because I have been recently. So anyway, hope that you liked it. Like and subscribe to this video, please, especially because I did that to get you to subscribe, and I don't ever want to do that again. And share it to your friends if you think they like it on the Snap Text or TikTok or whatever you kids use. Whatever will help my English improve.